Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school, so you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah. Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school, so you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah.
What up, Nine?
Trapaholics Mixtapes.
As the 9% and word would say, make a better you, a better us.
Give them what they ask for.
Who do you think you are? I'm the word. Boy, man, I'm the one who put in the work.
When I move, it's in a quick rumble. I will never ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho crumble.
Well, so it's the word. You see the title. We about to get into it. But before we do that, do me a favor, hit that like And if you're new, hit that subscribe, man. It's free to you, but it mean the world to me. And with that being said, let me get it to the chat. Let me get it to the chat. Dee Dee. Dee 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 Dee. What up, though, sis? Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Hey, man, I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back. I'm back. I think I'm gonna go live a couple times this week. Um, but yeah, this was a interesting topic that I had ran across. It was from a video from a couple years ago. And this is a concept that I preach a lot, right? Tell people to develop their own relationship with God versus depending on a book. You know, a lot of times people depend on a book for understanding, and that's fine, you know. But even those books give you the the wisdom or the knowledge so you can take it further. So uh, this is no way, shape, or form me shitting on religion. But religion, in my honest opinion, is like y'all know that series of books like it'd be like plumbing for dummies and electric electrician for dummies. That's how I feel like religion. Religion is like a book that help you get an understanding or comprehension of God. So my opinion, you know, uh God exists outside. God pre-exists religion itself. So of course God can exist outside of religion. I think religion it helps people at times, but it also can handicap people. It's like taking too many aspirin. You know, it can help you, but it can hurt you too. And when people become dependent on it, instead of finding their own path, their own way, connecting to God, that's what, you know, we had some conversations about belief, how people get stuck in that phase of belief. Belief is a phase, you know, until you get to know. Belief is just accepting something as true. Even if you don't have evidence that it's true, you still accept it. That's what a belief is. Knowing is having factual evidence. And when it comes to the conversation of God, you know, God never came down from the clouds in our time and said, "Hey, I'm God. Guess what? What up, though?" God ain't never did that. So how do you know God? People personal testimony, right? Um, God's gonna mean something different to everybody. Even in the Bible, God was something different to everybody. All those stories in the Bible are people's experience with God, and you see how they differ. They all different. Some people um, started off with luxury, found God, and became regular. You know, like if you think of even like the story of you think about the story of Moses. You know, Moses was an Egyptian prince. You know, and he walked away from all the luxuries and all that to follow God's path. You know, and then you have people like uh, King David. You know, who started off with nothing and got everything. Story of Job. So, the experience with God differs from everybody. So just like they had their own, all those are testimonies from people. So just like they had that experience with God, you can too. But if you solely focus on missing Bob, what up though, sis? Hey, I was in I couldn't type. I was in your chat a couple days ago. I wanted to get in on the conversations, man. But it'd be like, you know, the kids, man. Yeah, we doing good. We doing good. What up, nine? What up, nine? We doing good, man. I messed my ankle up. I got a bad sprain. I fell down. Well, I ain't fall down the stairs. I was on the second to last step and didn't see. I was taking a turkey baster back downstairs in the basement and didn't see. I guess my son or daughter, somebody threw some clothes down the stairs in the basement. That's why I washed and dried, and I didn't see it. And I stepped on it, slipped. Man, I rolled my ankle something horrible. I thought it snapped. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I threw myself on the ground so I wouldn't put all the weight on it. But my ankle, it looked like a tennis ball on one side and a damn grapefruit on the other side. And I still ain't go to the hospital. My wife drove me to the hospital. I limped to the door, turned around, and came back. Like, well, I went to the hospital. It's just a sprain. I know ain't nothing tore or broken or anything like that. I would have been in way more pain than what I'm in. But yeah, everything good, man. We having a good season right now. Good season. Shout out to the uh fall equinox. We about to enter the winter solstice in a minute. So shout out to the fall equinox. But yeah, we chilling. We chilling. But yeah, so all those stories in the Bible are simply people's experience with God, and you can look through the stories, and they differ, just like all of us. So when people say, "Can you prove God?" and they don't take personal testimonies, a lot of times they haven't had that experience with God. You know, that experience. It's not something that I'm not gonna say our five senses can't comprehend, but it's deeper than that. You know, it's deeper than the five senses that we use when we talk about our connection with God. It's deeper than that. So can God exist outside religion? God existed before religion. Religion is a man-made construct to explain what we can't explain. That's all it is. It's given, I don't want to use the word clarity, but it's given understanding to what we can't understand. That's what religion is. All different religions do that. And it's usually tailored around the culture of the people. You know, if you look at the Hindu religion, if you look at the Kemetic religion, even Christianity, all that is tailored around the culture of the people. It's people's perception. Well, this is what this experience means. This is what this experience means. God talked to a lot of people and told them different things. He didn't always tell people the same thing. Told people different things. So for us to depend on some dead people experience to connect with the higher being, that just shows our ignorance, right? So if you think God doesn't exist outside religion, then um, I feel bad for you. Well, actually, I don't. You know, ignorance is bliss until you got to pay for it. It's bliss until you have to pay for it. Where's sin in the Bible? All 10 commandments at once. See, Moses, story of Moses. Um, my favorite story in the Bible is the story of Job. It has uh, I have a unique connection with the story of Job. So I resonate with Job. But the story of Moses, um, yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story of Moses because I it's similar stories through different like Kemetic, like Thutmoses, the actual historical story of Thutmoses the third. If you look that up, you'll see a lot of similarities. He led people out of Egypt into a whole new civilization and started a whole new thing. So, and even well, he wasn't. They weren't trying to kill him, but even how he got adopted, it wasn't really part of the royal family. So that's interesting too. But yeah, the story of Moses is badass. You see, a lot of those stories we see, we experience those not on that level. But I remember I quit a job, right? Because of the way they was treating us. I quit. And the day I quit, it was like 17 other people quit and walked out with me, right? We all walked out. That was like the exodus. So we experienced those things. I use the term minute on a minute level, but not on that grandeur level, but on a small level, we experience all those stories, like especially like the story with Job with me, like how he had everything and lost everything and didn't give up on his faith or his understanding. I would say his knowing of God, because if you look at what Job went through, if you had a belief in God at that point, you probably would have threw it away. You know, he never questioned God. He never questioned. And broke him, yep. Yeah, the story of Moses was badass. It I ain't gonna say it remind me of the story of Buddha. But Buddha, you know, Buddha was the actual person, a real life person walking the earth, and he was a prince. And one day he went out the palace and seeing how the common folk was living and decided to walk away from all that and just understand, took a journey to understand like what life really is, because he was born in luxury. He had no worries. He had no real adversity, he was given everything and he walked away from it and just lived a more of a monk style life. He just roamed the earth experiencing life. And if you look at the teachings of Buddha, that's what Buddhism really is. It's not about trying to identify or compartmentalize, but experience. And through that experience, you get understanding. That's why I love Buddha, 'cause it's like it's not like somebody asked Buddha, is there a God? And Buddha said that's the wrong question. The question is, where isn't God? Like in everything in life, we see a divine design. So it's not, is there a God, but where isn't God? Where does God not exist in this world? He wasn't really trying to identify God, or he was just telling people to experience life. Take the good with the bad because it all has a lesson in it. And even that aspect, right? Even that, God wrote it for him at first. He took it down and broke it because of what other people did, right? Not because of what he did, not because of what he can control, but he broke the Ten Commandments because of what he couldn't control. So he had to go back and get them, and then whatever situation, there's a consequence. And God gave it to him, but he made him write it. God made him write it now. It was given to you, you didn't appreciate it, didn't take care of it. So now you got to do it. Now you got to put the work in. And a lot of times that's how God works in our life. We're given things, right? And we don't appreciate it because it's given. But once we took it away, once it's gone, then we understand the value of it. And then we work hard to retain it. I did that a couple times in my life. you know, Out of frustration of things that I can't control. I can't control other people. You can't control others, what others choose to do. It's all about you. And through you lead through you give an example, right? Because like if you think about Moses' faith was in God, all the stuff he did. People didn't have those conversations with God. So they believed in Moses and they didn't truly believe in God. But they believed in Moses. But that's the problem with belief. Because as soon as things get hard or uncomfortable, they divert it and start worshiping something old again, the calf. They started worshiping the golden calf. Took all the gold, melted it down, and made a golden calf to worship. So to keep following Moses. But their belief was in Moses. Their belief wasn't in God. That's what belief does. When Moses knew God. See, he had that experience with God. So no matter how hard things got, that knowing of God gave him the resilience to persevere through whatever he was going through because he knew what God had for him on the other end. Some people didn't have that. They only had belief in Moses. So that when you go at stuff a little differently than you do when you believe it, when because even though things get hard, when you hit a hill, once you go over that hill, your goal is clear. You just got to get over that hill. That's what happens when you know. When you believe and you get to that hill, you start going up. You see how steep it is, and you don't know what's on the other side. You start questioning: is it really worth it? Should I keep going? If I go back now, I can be comfortable. Because right now I'm not comfortable. And that's what happens a lot with people because they never had that experience. with God, so they don't know. They only believe. But it's my understanding that people have so many experiences with God and they don't interpret it the right way. Right? They looking for something miraculous to happen. They looking for the sky to split apart and the hand come down and say, "Follow me, my child." They looking for that. You know what I'm saying? It'd be the little subtle things. You'll have a question and the answer will pop up right in front of you. Might be on a video, might be a book, might be somebody who walking past you. You know, it'll pop, and you won't even think, "Oh, that's God's word. God put that there for me." I asked the question and God gave it. You won't look at it like that. You might need some extra money on a bill. Somebody might give you a scratch off, and bam. That's why they get that saying, God is never come when you want him, but he come when you need it. You looking for something that you want, but God provides what you need. You know what I'm saying? It's you. God provides you with the ability to get what you want, but God always provides what you need. You ever been at a store and been a little short on change, and somebody behind you, "Oh, don't worry about it. Here it goes." That's God. That's the God within them working through them to help you. Now, it might not have made you rich, but it got you what you needed, right? God don't get you what you want. You don't even. Most people can't even don't even know why they want things they want. But the stuff you need to sustain, so God always provides that. That's always provided. Oh, for sure, Mr. Mod. Appreciate you, sis. Appreciate Pinky and the brain. Pinky was the genius, not the brain. Right. I like that. But that's how it works. God always gets you what you need, but not what you want. And religion, like I said, that's man made. God ain't got nothing to do with no religion. God is a divine being. It's beyond religion. That's just how people interpret it. And it's an interpretation of the experience. That's all it is. And I don't even gonna talk about it in that aspect, but that's man made. Anything man made can be used for good or bad. Anything man made. Right? So that's what we see in religion. And I can prove that it's just people interpretation. That's why you got so many different religions and denominations of the same religion. All the denomination of the same religion is just a different interpretation of the religion. There's a different way they practice it. They go about it different. Why? Because it fits their culture construct. If God said one word, why do people interpret it all different ways? If it's one word, why is it interpreted different ways? I just told you, people tailor it to their culture. That's why you see people using religion for good, and then you see people using religion to hurt other people. They weaponize it. Religion could be weaponized, tailor it to their culture. If they violent, evil people, they'll find reason within the Bible to do just that. Be violent and unscrupulous. But God definitely exists outside of religion. Religion is nothing but man-made. It's man-made. It's a way man explained the experiences that we can't explain. It's hard to explain why things pop up when you need it. They pop up out of the blue. You get things from unexpected sources when you need it. Not when you want it, but when you need it. And then people say like this is one of the most annoying arguments I hear about God. If there was a God and God was all powerful, why would he let bad things happen? What you mean? Why would he let bad things happen? Because he ain't doing the bad things. It's people doing the bad things. God gives us the power, the energy to do good things and to prevent bad things. It's up to us as people to prevent the bad things from happening. It's not up to God. God did his part. That's the problem with religion with me because it contradicts itself. It leaves it open like that's one of the stupidest questions, but that's one of the most used arguments against God. Why does God let bad things happen? Why wouldn't God let bad things happen? God created good and evil. Everything exists because of God. God is good and evil. God is all things. God is nothing. God is the energy and frequency. So you say, oh, if God, so he's supposed to go around and stop, like God supposed to just go police us, go around and stop all bad things from happening. And my opposing question is always this: how do you know what's good when you don't know what's bad? When you have no examples of bad things, how do you really know what's good? Good does not exist without bad. It's like on a coin, heads doesn't exist without tails. Then it's just a two-sided coin with the same side on it. Heads and heads. It's no different. Nothing to compare and contrast to. Like in Buddhism, suffering is necessary. Not the point about not suffering. It's about limiting your suffering. And you can do that. You can limit your suffering, but you ain't go make it not exist because you can't control everything. It's not about controlling everything. It's about control of self. How you choose to look at it. You only suffer because you look at it as suffering. Some people go through the same things that break you and it don't phase them. It's just a natural part of life. It's normal. Suffering is not suffering is not inherently bad. People may look at it like that, but it's not inherently bad. So many good things come out of what we consider suffering. And then there's levels to it, right? Like so you have physical suffering where you can feel physical pain and it's ongoing, it's contingent, it's continuous. And then you have emotional, you have mental suffering, you have financial suffering. You can suffer in different aspects of life, but it's really about perception because what most people call suffering, I call it adversity. And what comes through adversity is like being forged in a fire. It tempers you, makes you harder. It can give you, it makes you more creative. You know, Gary say adversity creates creativity. Why? Because you have to get creative sometimes to overcome you have to think outside the box to overcome adversity a lot of times. And it develops you. It builds confidence. It builds self-esteem. All these things come out of adversity or what people consider suffering. It's all about the person though, because it can break people. It could break them just like it can make them stronger. That's what suffering does. Well, well, most people look at suffering and just be another day in the office for some people. Just another day. Just another day. But yeah, I do got the link pin if anybody want to come up and have a discussion. I probably ain't gonna be on here long. I just popped up for a minute. I ain't been on for a minute. Well, I was on the other day, but you know, around the holidays I do take a hiatus. I be chilling, kicking it with the fam. And now my wife got a bunch of projects, and they ain't really got nothing scheduled. They ain't really got nothing to say. But I was just interested in how people think. You know, uh, do people solely depend on religion to connect to the divine or to connect with God? And can God exist outside of religion? Does God exist outside? Do you know God because of this religion? Or do you know God because of your personal experience? Like that religion gives you the structure to practice. It brings the awareness. 'Cause, if you never heard God, you probably wouldn't believe in God. If no one introduced you to God and you just live a normal life, you probably wouldn't even think about that. Most people. Some people are very spiritual and they connect it without having they like Wi-Fi connected instead of being plugged in. Religion is like a plug. You got to be plugged in. Some people got that Wi-Fi, that Bluetooth connection, that wireless connection with the divine. So some people, what up though, realist? The realest one is in the building. What up though, my guy? Appreciate you, my ninja, my ninja. Yeah, some people got that Bluetooth connection with God. They don't need to plug in. You know, but even if you plug in, I always that's why I say practice what you preach. Especially when it comes to the religion. The more you practice it, the more you understand it, and you don't have to depend on other people's experience, aka the Bible. That's all it is, a book of other people's experiences. You don't have to depend on that. You got your own connection, your own. Um, I don't, it's people think it's sacrilegious to say write your own book, but that's what happens in life. Everybody has their own book, man. Everybody had different experience. Everybody can write a story. If it's gonna be interesting or not, it depends how they narrate it. But everybody can write their own story. Everybody has that because they have experience in life. So I mean, so many people go through so many struggles. Like when we was talking about suffering and adversity, they can tell their story and give clarity to other people to help them through their struggle, and don't even think of it that way because they think they insignificant. Most people walking around, they don't really. Most people don't have self esteem. That's why they depend on outside validation. They depend on other people to build it up. But if it's internal, that shit gonna come out regardless. Whatever's in you gonna come out. So if you got confidence, self esteem, all that, it's go exude out of you. That shit go spill out of you. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna come out of you. Ain't nobody got to put it in you for it to come out. That's what a lot of people need. They need validation to feel good about themselves instead of looking in the mirror. With this social media, that's why social media took off the way it did because the average person can get people to like and give them outside validation, and people go crazy for that. You look on somebody's social media feed, and this tripped me out because like I ain't been on Facebook. I go on there sparingly, like when special occasions and stuff. But I see people on Facebook doing the most now. Like, God damn, bro, you weren't even built like that. Like, it's some man. It was some people I know they taking like nice little pictures and shit. Now they have dressed, and now you look at it how they started off, and you look at it now, and you see what changed. The likes. They're getting more likes now. Outside validation. Like even on this YouTube, I see people start off like me, just cool, calm, collect, talking, normal person, and then they get the super ego. Well, they function more in their ID because maybe they got into it with somebody and their views went up. As soon as the views go down, they start trying to do what they used to do, and then the views go down. Then what they do? They go back to the beefing and arguing, and their views go up. or they start doing some unscrupulous shit, then their views go up. The more views go up, the more bullshit they willing to do. And most of these people ain't even getting paid. Yeah, even if you're getting like $1,000, bro, you telling me $1,000 is worth your soul? And what I mean by soul is like whatever you do today, that shit go lead somewhere else tomorrow. It's literally laying the bricks for the path you walk in, the things you do today. So all the unscrupulous things we do today on the internet, you're gonna have to pay for that shit tomorrow. I don't even know what my phone at. Where's my phone? Oh, hello. Hey, hey. Okay, what you get? You just trying to smooth me over so I won't talk shit. I was about to say something, but I'm on wild. You can come out here. I'm about to get off anyway. You come out here. I love you too. All right. Yeah, we're gonna it's not always a good thing though. Nah, the internet is bittersweet. Anybody have but yeah, bro. Like this thing, like anything, bro. A knife can be used to cut your food or cut somebody. So anything has the potential to be good or bad. It's the intent of the person, how people choose to use it. In our society, for some reason, we reward ignorance, bro. We reward the bad things and punish people for doing the right thing. I don't. That's just how it seems. I mean, we can sit here and say, I'm talking about the action. Like if you look at the most viewed things, it ain't somebody saving somebody or some happy shit. It's some unscrupulous shit. Somebody either taking their clothes off or somebody getting their ass whooped. That'd be the most viewed things. People like we as society, and I don't know what you want to blame it on, movies, music, whatever you want to blame it on. But in society, is the negative things that get the most attention. Right? It'd be the negative thing. It don't be the positive things, the uplifting things. That stuff boring. We look at that as boring. It's not entertaining. Most people just want to be entertained. We live in a society where entertainment is king. That's why actors get paid more than doctors, bro. Actors get paid more than teachers. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause they entertain us. Entertainment is nothing but a form of distraction. That's all it is. We can look at it. Oh, it's an art form. It's this. It's that. Why does it get paid more than people saving lives? That don't make sense. We ass backwards, bro. We ass backwards. But that's where we at. There ain't no point in complaining about it. You either follow the wave or create your own. I'm creating my own wave. I'm like I said. I mean, I can do all that stuff everybody else doing. I'm good. I'm good at talking shit. I can talk shit all day. It's easy. I'm very creative. I'm crafty with words. I can do that all day, but it ain't. I'm not about to do that for no clicks and views and all that. Like I said, it leads to something later. You know. I'm always an example. If I see the people watching me or not, I just know I am. I accepted that. I don't wake up like, hey, I'm gonna be a role model. I don't wake up thinking that. I just know people watching, and I ain't talking about on the internet. I'm talking about in real life. My kids, my wife. It's about the people around you. You know what would be crazy? It'd be crazy how people come on the internet and influence people they don't even know, but they can't impact the people that they do know. You know why? Because when people know they on some bullshit, and the people on the internet they don't know if they acting or not, and most of it is entertainment. Most of it is entertainment. But the people they know don't even have a conversation with because they know they be on some bullshit. They know they ain't like this or like that. They know all that's the act. So it's the people you know that's really important. That shit crazy. Like, 'cause I've met a couple people like that. Like they influencers on the internet, but in real life, people know they ain't shit. And no matter how many times you tell the people who don't really know them, they ain't shit. They still don't believe them because they like the character. They've been entertained. You know, like I give you an example. DJ Academic. When you seen some of the things he did in real life, you're like, man, you a piece of shit, bro. But people still like he's entertaining. You know, he's entertaining. So people on the internet love him. People off the internet like, bro ain't shit. So you start seeing people real life get exposed and shit. You be like, damn. They told what was that dude named Derek Jackson? He's talking all that smack, getting all the girls hot and bothered. Trying to find out like shit. He was just explaining himself, like how men ain't shit and women need to watch out for it. He was telling you about him. He still got a platform. A lot of these dudes still got a platform. Yeah, dead giveaway, man. Dead giveaway. It's a dead giveaway. I be listening to some of these people like, bro, you ain't like that. You are not like that. And it shows because the results. I mean, the results in their real life. You know, I don't put my real life all on here, but shit, people know I'm married with kids, and you know, they know all that about me. You know, I ain't up here, and what I say, I mean, I've been shown. There's not one person on the internet can actually say I did like tried to flirt with them or none of that. I don't believe in none of that. I literally cultivated myself self mastery, and I gave you the reason why. I told people why I had to do it at a young age because when I was little, I seen dudes getting set up by females. Right? This is what made me not lustful, and I used to watch the chicks more than I watched the dudes. Like I was like man, I remember I had this, and I kept telling this dude, this one homeboy. He wasn't even really my homeboy. He was more of a coworker, but he was kind of nerdy, right? He wasn't like he was kind of sheltered growing up. So now he got money, he got a nice car. So now he didn't really get women when he was younger, but now he can. He going on the websites, and he was telling me like, yeah, he had just got a charger when he first came out, and he was like, yeah, I'm about to go pick up this girl. I said, oh, where y'all going? He was like, and this is area in Detroit called Dexter. I'm like, bro, don't go over there. And he's like, man, I said, bro, you work in the hospital, you got a good job. And I said, I ain't saying you better than nobody. I'm just telling you, this when you at this level, bro, it's certain you can't lower yourself because when people see something you got that they don't have, it's most people who impoverished areas, like living in poverty, they not gonna ask you how you got it. They just gonna take what you got. He didn't listen to me. He got his ass robbed. His ass was in the ER, all beat up. Pulled up at the girl house. She came out. When she opened her door, another dude opened his door. They snatched him out, whooped his ass, took his car, took his wallet, and left him on the street. The address that the girl gave him was an abandoned house. He set his ass up. And I'm like, he looked at me. I was like, I'm not even gonna tell you I told you so, but sometimes people that got to experience things to learn. You lucky you alive, bro. They could have put your ass in the trunk. You could have been cold and stiff, man. Beat the living shit out of him, knocked teeth out, broke his jaw. And he a nerd dude. He ain't even like about that. And I'm like, bro, you just nah, bro. You can't do that. But that's what happens when people don't, um, when they ain't been around things, they're not aware of things. People don't think like, oh, people out here like that until they experience a lot of time. Like people are literally on demon time. That's why I don't put nothing past nobody, bro. I don't put nothing past nobody. Especially when you see the circumstances the person is. You know how desperate people get when they ain't got nothing? Most people living in survival mode. Survival of the fittest. You know what I'm saying? You got something they need, they gonna take it from you. You can cry about the police, laws, and rules. That shit don't matter, bro. Not when people trying to survive. People feel like shit. I'm gonna do this now, and I apologize for it later. I can come back and apologize for it later, but I'm gonna get what I need to get now. That's how most people think. Most people be in the moment. They don't think about what's gonna happen down the road. That's like robbing somebody. To me, was never a good idea because I always thought 4 or 5 steps. Always weighed things out, pros and cons. So even the risk that I took in life, there's very few risks that I took that I had to pay for because I thought them out. And there's some risks I just never took. Like, nah, I ain't doing that shit, bro. Even if I succeed, it don't weigh out what the bad possibilities can be. I had a friend, he wanted to run up in the spot, right? He thought it was a good idea to rob a spot. He did it successfully too. He got in and out, got the money, got the weed. Three months later, they found him in a burning car in the alley. And I'm like, cause I was telling him, he's like, hey man, I'm like, nah, bro. I'm like, cause even if you get away, bro, if somebody figure out, and this is how people play. And I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like this everywhere, but in the D, if they can't get you, they gonna get your family. That's what made me not make a lot of stupid mistakes because it was bigger than me. It's like, okay, if they can't get to me, they gonna get somebody in my family. That's just how the streets work. That's just how the streets work. But he ran up in the spot, and of course, when you get the money, I mean, what you gonna do? I mean, you gonna spend the money. You gonna try to sell. That's how they found out who did it. You got their shit selling it to other people, and somebody, oh yeah, this they shit. I know because I used it before. Where you get it from? Got it from him. Oh yep, he fit the bill. That's who did it. He's gone now. So for that temporary success, I got you. For that temporary success, that quick lick, that shit cost you your life, bro. Could have cost people lives around you too. All battles ain't meant to be fought. There's times that I look at the situation like, man, you got it. You got it. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it moving. And there's times that I planted my feet and start swinging. But all battles ain't meant to be fought, man. And if you ain't thinking of stuff down the road, most people, like I said, they in that survival mode. So they're not thinking long term. They're thinking that short term fix. 755, what up though? That's what I'm saying. Even with the internet, man, people ain't thinking about 4 or 5 years from now. Like that OnlyFans thing. Like I'm thinking, like I feel bad for some of them. Like I guarantee you, about 10 years from now, a lot of them OnlyFans girls will be like, "Ain't no good man, no man, like ain't no man want no hoe. If a man want a hoe, he wants you to be his hoe, not everybody hoe." Right? Why they just think? Just get on. Oh dang! Hold on, I ain't got my shoes on. Oh, Yeah, like that OnlyFans thing. That only number a new porno, bro. It's a new porno. And half of them girls, the young, naive, no experience in life, getting that fast money. And then when they go try to settle down, they gonna tell them like, yeah, I was on OnlyFans. They gonna be like, I'm straight. You're welcome, baby. Huh? Thank you. Who? Trying to tell you. And then you're thinking down the road, like, oh, who was that? One of the porn star. But she was like, her husband didn't know. She did porn. They was happily married for like 5 years. And I think it was like his brother or something. Seen her, told her, and he got a divorce. And man, you got to deal with that. What you do today, pave the road for your future. Pave the road you got to walk. That was one of the hardest lessons I had to learn. Things you do today, you pay for tomorrow. But that's what prevents me a lot of times just thinking like that. Prevents me from making impulsive decisions. You know, you want to think about how can you be less impulsive? How can you be less emotional, reactive? You got to think beyond that emotion. It's hard, it takes practice because when you heat it, sometimes all logic go out the window. Even when you love, love can blind you too. You can be in love with somebody and they ain't in love with you, and you will look past a lot of the things that they doing. But once that emotion die down, you see clearly, like, damn, this person was doing this the whole time. This person was doing that the whole time. They wasn't shit from the beginning. But that love will have you blinded, huh? I'm talking way off subject. I ain't about to be on here too much longer. We hit the hour mark. But yeah, I just wanted to ask y'all that question, man. Do y'all feel like God can exist outside religion? And if it do, then when people say, yeah, I know they developed their own relationship with the divine. No matter what you want to call it. I call God the divine creator. You know. That's the best way I can explain it with words, I guess. But does God exist outside of the construct of religion? Religion is simply something man made to explain what they couldn't explain or explain what people couldn't comprehend. I'm not gonna say understand, but to explain what people couldn't comprehend and to give structure or man, I kind of look my honest opinion. My honest opinion, man, I think that shit was created to kind of control thought. That's the most um yeah, that shit was created. I ain't gonna say to control people, but it can be used for good though, because it can give you structure, it can give you balance, it can give you awareness, let you know what is possible. So it has benefits to it, but every good lie, every good lie has a bit of the truth in it, right? Every good lie has a bit of the truth in it. That's what makes it a good lie. That's what makes it believable because it has truth in it. And that's how I look at religion. But the easiest way I can explain religion without, shitting on it is other people's experiences with God. It's the way other people experience God. No matter what religion you look at, it's a story about somebody experiencing God. That's what it is. That's not your experience per se, but it's someone's experience. So it lets you know what's possible, but you can't be them. You can't do what Moses did. Why? Because Moses had to connect with God. You don't. Your connection with God is through Moses. Moses cultivated and developed his relationship with God. Most people don't do that. They stick to the book. They rely on the book or the teachings of some dead people. They ain't around. Never had to experience the shit we experiencing now. They experience is totally different from ours. It has similarities, but it's different. Our ancestors, their experiences are different from ours. Everything is in the past is for us to learn from. That's it. That's it. It's for us to learn from, but people try to model, and that's why people fail so much, especially with religion. People fail in religion. Religion is supposed to connect you to God. People never get that connection because they're using other people's experiences instead of their own. And most people's comprehension, like for me to tell you my experience, I have to relate it out of a book. I have to relate it to something in the book. And then people be like, oh, okay, I understand now. People comprehension level. Instead of giving an example that we all experience and we be like, okay, we can vibe off that, we gotta go to some dead people. And we don't, man, that shit get deep. But that's all I had to say, man. I ain't gonna be on here too late. I'm about to get off here. I'll go kick it with the wife. Man, I hope y'all have a good holidays, enjoy this winter solstice coming up. Enjoy the fall equinox that's here now. Enjoy your family. Enjoy yourself, man. Spend some time with yourself. You know, just start loving yourself. Even if you ain't got a reason, find a reason to love yourself, man. Do that. Y'all know what I always say, man. Care about how you feel. These conversations to build nations. And if I say anything that resonated with you, do me a favor, hit that share button. Tell somebody, help me spread the word. But until next time.
And do it for the 9.
What up, 9?
Acknowledge me!